Yo guys, what's up? So today the new dev blog was released for raids rewards, and it's great timing because as you guys know, my last video was talking about how excited I am for raids to come out. They're one of the best updates I think that could potentially ever come out to old school if it's done correctly. I'm sure the old school team is working pretty hard on it since it has been postponed 3 or 4 times now. It was originally planned to come out in June of 2016, so this summer, and then November, now then December, and now it's early 2017. So they're postponing it, they're really working hard on it. And it's mainly been because there's been a bit of trouble with the understanding between the team and the community in terms of the rewards that people want from raids. There's been a lot of people saying that every time they release a potential item for raids rewards, it just hasn't been that good. But they have released a huge amount of potential items and rewards for raids, and I want to go over them with you guys because there's a lot of different items and I want to get you guys' opinions on them. Now, this poll that's going to come out next week for these items is probably going to be bigger than the presidential election itself. This is one of the biggest polls to ever come out, way more important than the presidential election. So it's very important that you guys inform yourself not only on the presidential election but on this poll as well for the raids rewards. So we're going to go over them today, and if you guys have your opinions on them, make sure to post them below. Maybe make a list of what you think should and shouldn't be added, because if there's people out there who aren't sure whether or not they want to add it and they see your comment and they're potentially influenced by it, there you go, you swayed a person one way. So anyways, let's go ahead and go over these items. We'll go over them not quickly, but just looking at them, and I'm going to give you guys sort of not really my opinion, but I'm going to give you guys the breakdown of what they are. So the first one and the big one is Dragon Claws. Now, Evan Andrew H, another video maker, made a pretty great interview where he interviewed a bunch of different people, and people like Randalicious, Waygold, Pot Up Sun, Manked Up Mage, a huge variety of people and their opinions on Dragon Claws. And in that video, I believe most of them said that Dragon Claws really aren't even that overpowered. They would not be game breaking, they will not change the game significantly. In fact, Dragon Claws have always been known to be survivable. When they're comboed with multiple people, it's very hard. But if you're getting solo PK by some of the Dragon Claws, something like a Phoenix Necklace, and even just combo eating will most likely keep you alive. The chance that Dragon Claws 100 to 0 you in a single spec in the 50% spec is very, very low. It's only that when it specs twice, you have potential of dying. But again, like I said, the Dragon Claws were never, it's not as overpowered as like an Arbitral Godsword, G-Maul, or a Ballista, or even a Dark Bow, where you can get, 100 to 0 really, really, really quickly. It's not really known that Dragon Claws would do that. It's have always been pretty accurate from what I remember, but in terms of dying right away to them, not really. I always loved Dragon Claws. You guys know I love Dragon Claws from my videos back in the day. But yeah, anyways, let's go over. So they were potentially going to release them with the name Abyssal Claws, but that idea was scrapped. They were going to have a 70 attack requirement, and they were going to be named Abyssal Claws, but they went back to the Dragon Claws idea. It would require 60 attack to wield the Dragon Claws. And I'm not sure if the stats have been changed at all from the last time they were pulled, if they were ever pulled, or from pre-EOC, but here's what the stats are. My vote would be yes for Dragon Claws. I love Dragon Claws. I really don't think people remember that they were a great spec weapon, but they were not, game breaking. I don't think that they ruined PvP or anything else. I think they're way less overpowered than an Arbitral Godsword or Ballista when it was recently nerfed. I'm not really sure how bad it was nerfed, or even like a Dark Bow. So my vote would be yes for that. So now we have the Ancestral Robes, which are going to be the best offensive option for high-level Magic users, I believe. They require 75 Magic and 65 defense, and they will act as a non-degradable set. So you will not have to pay to get them fixed, for example, like Arams. So they have a +2 Magic increase per piece worn. So if you wear the full set, I guess you'll get +6%. And they will be a non-degradable nature of the robes, provide a magic alternative to Bandos and Armadillos. So they're, I guess, going to be the best in slot offensive magic armor, just sort of like Armadillos for range and Bandos is for melee. So they said that it will be very difficult to acquire, so they're likely going to require a high price tag, and they're going to be an unlikely choice for PKing since they're so expensive, which is going to preserve Aram's place as the staple choice for mages when PKing. But for PVM, you never know. The stats, I'm not really good with comparing stats with other armors, but if you guys are good with that, let me know if you think these will be too overpowered or just right, I guess, for a new best in slot magic armor. So the Ancestral Robes look pretty interesting. I would most likely vote yes for all this stuff because I love seeing new items in the game, but that's why I'm stupid and maybe I'm voting for the wrong thing. But Ancestral Robes look pretty cool. We now have the Twisted Bow, which is a really unique, different type of bow. So basically what it does is that it requires 75 range, and it's a hard-hitting, accurate, and slow longbow. So the bow changes in strength and accuracy when used against magical opponents. So for example, down here they have the Twisted Bow strength would work very well against Tagonoth Prime because the boss has a magic level of 255, which will provide a buff of 217%. So the higher magic level of whatever you're fighting, the harder the bow is going to hit. But for example, if you fight something with a magic level and bonus of 1, the bow would be very weak. It would only provide 54% of its base damage and accuracy. It caps out at 250%, but if you are fighting something that has high magic level, it would do some pretty good damage. They provided a nice little graph here, so the lower the magic level, the less buff. The higher the magic level, the bigger the buff's going to be. So it caps out at 250 right here, so at 350, a little bit more, it will cap out at 250% damage. So really unique longbow. I'm not sure if there was anything else in the game or anything else that they ever pulled that sort of matches this, but definitely a pretty unique weapon, and I don't really see any negatives against this. Again, like I said, I'm pretty biased with this stuff because I just love seeing new items come into the game. I always find it fun. But yeah, so that's a pretty interesting item. Let me know what you guys think about that below. We now have the Twisted Buckler, which is going to be a new shield for range people, for rangers. So it requires 75 range and defense, and it provides the best in slot range accuracy bonus as well as noteworthy defensive stats. So the Twisted Buckler is the spiritual successor of the Odium Ward, and it provides similar uses and value at a higher level. So as with the Ancestral and Arams down here, it says the value of the Odium Ward will still have its place as the lower tier and lower cost alternative to the Buckler, but it will not be easy or cheap to get your hands on the Twisted Buckler, so you probably want to hold on to your Odium Ward. So this is probably going to be a very expensive item. As usual, it seems like most of this stuff is going to be hard to get from raids, and this is just going to be the next level from the Odium Ward, but very expensive, which means that the Odium Ward will still keep its place as one of the better shields for rangers. Now we're going to go down to Din's Bulwark. So this is a two-handed shield, and I thought this is really unique. We've never seen anything like this on Old School before. There might be something like this on RS3, I'm not 100% sure. But here's what the shield does. So it has pretty decent defensive bonus. It actually has a special attack for the shield. It's a two-handed shield, so you can't wield any weapon. It's a shield that you can't wield a weapon with, but you can attack with the shield. So what the shield does is uses 50% of the special attack bar and hits an enemy within a 5x5 area with 20% increased accuracy bonus in multi-way combat areas only, so only in multi. Now, the special effects is when using the block style, the Din's Bulwark cannot be used to attack, but it will reduce all incoming damage by 20%. So if you use block, you are unable to attack, but all incoming damage is reduced by 20%. So if you have a spec coming your way and you use block, then it will be reduced by 20%, which is pretty unique. But when you're using pummel, you can attack with the shield, but you lose all the damage reduction. So you have the option to attack with the shield, but all the damage reduction is lost, like I just read. So this to prevent the advantages of each style being used at the same time, there's a short delay when switching from block to pummel, during which you cannot attack. This will also apply when switching from the bulwark to other weapons. So a shield where it has different abilities, I don't think we've ever seen like that before, where we're used to shields just sort of equipping them, and then they do their thing. I mean, the DFS has a special attack option, but that's used by very few people. This is definitely very unique because it would change up PvP. It could be used in PvM, I'm not 100% sure, but definitely a really cool item that I like the idea of, and this is pretty cool. This is exciting to potentially see in the game. So like I said earlier, 75 defense and attack is required to equip it, and it's unlike any shield or weapon in the game, and it has interesting advantages to its users. I like this one a lot. I would definitely vote yes for this. So now we have the Dragon Hunter crossbow, and this is also pretty cool because it's a unique range weapon, requires 65 range, and it offers a base bonus of 95 ranged attack. Fighting dragons will empower the weapon, increasing both accuracy and damage by 10%. This will stack additively with void and not multiplicatively. There we go. So it's basically increased power when you're fighting dragons. So when you're fighting dragons, you will do more damage. Really simple. I'm not really sure what the stats would be, how it compares to other crossbows in the game when fighting other players or even just fighting other monsters. But for fighting dragons, this would probably be the best crossbow in the game to wear. So pretty cool item. I would obviously vote yes for this. We now have the Elder Armor, so it's a new top tier set of melee armor. I think the Elder stuff and the Kodai robes were added in the tournament worlds at one point, and I think they may have sort of done what the stats are like. But we have 75 defense to equip, and it provides bonuses to justify the very high requirements. So the best melee, or the highest melee defense requirement I think ever. I believe that Bandos requires 65 defense and Barrows requires 70 defense, and this requires 75 defense. So it's the best thing to wear, the highest defense level like required. That being said, though, it's degradable and it can be repaired for a price. So the helmet degrades at 20k per hour of use, the plate body at 50k per hour, and the plate legs at 30k per hour. So you guys remember things like Stadius and Vesta, they basically degraded. I'm not sure if it was per hour or per use, but just think of it like that. It degrades and you'll have to repair it after it degrades. So here are the bonuses in terms of attack and defense. You guys can judge it. I'm not really going to compare it to other items, but they are going to be the new top tier set as mentioned up here. Now here we have the Kodai robes, which require 75 magic and defense, provide substantial bonuses for both. They are also degradable. Now the thing I want to compare is the Kodai robes and up here we have the ancestral robes. So I'm not really sure why they pull both of them when it seems like it just maybe might be best to pull just one magic robe. So these have they have the 38, 35, and 26. And then down here we have 12, 38, and 30 for magic bonus. So these Kodai robes are better than the ancestral robes in terms of attack bonus. And then defense, up here we have 42, and then we have down here. It still seems like these are better for the most part. I'm not really sure what the point of both is. I can't really compare them right now, but if any of you guys want to maybe take a closer look at that in the comments and let me know what you think of that. Those are interesting to compare because I'm not really sure why they'd pull both, but there's going to be two in the poll, it looks like it. But the Kodai robes and the ancestral robes seem like they might be competing for the place of new magic robes in the game. So now we have the Twisted Armor, which is basically exactly like Kodai robes and Alder Armor, except it's for range. You're going to be the same degradable rate, just a couple differences in terms of how much you have to pay when it degrades. And that's it for the armor. Down here we have when will these rewards be pulled. They will say that it's next week in the poll. So all these different items are most likely going to be in the poll. Lots of new really cool raids rewards, which I'm excited for. I'd like to see as much new stuff come to the game as possible, as long as it's not game breaking. It doesn't like ruin the game, like I said. So these, for the most part, seem pretty good. Again, the only thing I'm really not skeptical about is the Kodai robes, and then up here we have the ancestral robes. Maybe looking into those a bit more. There is something I'm missing. I'm guessing maybe the magic attack bonus, just something like that, but I won't get into it. I don't want to sound like an idiot, even though I most likely already have. But anyways, guys, really cool items that are potentially going to come in the game. Please vote yes to Dragon Claws. I'd love to see them back. Would definitely be really cool. And that's it, guys. Thank you all for watching. Hope to see you next time. Make sure to comment your opinions below, and have a good one. Peace.